So Eddie Hearn has announced his first Dazn card on October 6th in Chicago, Illinois. And on that card we have fights like Daniel Roman is how I believe you pronounce his name, against Gavin McDonnell. Two guys who can't crack eggs. Really looking forward to that. Note the sarcasm. We also have Callum Johnson versus Artur Beterbiev. I am actually quite looking forward to that fight. I expect Beterbiev to absolutely wipe Callum Johnson out, but it's the unknown that kind of has me looking forward to it. Like, I'm optimistic about that fight. I really am. Johnson's shown good power at domestic British level, but Beterbiev is a killer. You know, I mean, he is the new Kovalev of the light heavyweight division, and I think he's even more intimidating than Kovalev. In fact, was it Blake Caparel who said that he hits harder than Sergey Kovalev? And Sergey Kovalev is a big puncher. Believe you me, he is pound for pound one of the biggest punchers in boxing. So looking forward to that fight. Who else do we have? We have Jesse Vargas. I forget the opponent he's fighting. I'm sure someone will probably tell me, but I forget the opponent he's fighting. That's a kind of it's a you-know-what fight. Then we have the mismatch to end all mismatches. We have Jarrell Big Baby Miller versus Tomasz Adamek, the former light heavyweight, former cruiserweight champion. Boy, I mean, Tomasz Adamek, because I remember he got knocked out by Eric Molina about 2 years ago, and I think he retired after that fight because he got knocked out by Eric Molina of all people. That guy is beyond ridiculous. He's a journeyman at this stage, Molina. You're getting knocked out by him. I mean, that's bad enough. That was 2 years ago, all right? And apparently he retired after that fight, but apparently he's back in the ring. I've seen on BoxRec that he's fought. I don't know whether they were knockouts. I can't remember. It was a while ago I seen it, but he's fought. I think he fought on a Krzysztof Glowacki undercard in Poland anyway. So he has fought a few times. I know his weight's kind of been in around the 220 region, so like he's not come back, grossly overweight or out of shape, anything like that. But he was past his prime. I would say maybe when he fought Vitaly Klitschko or when he fought Chris Arreola, which was 2011 or 2010. So he's pretty much done after that. We're now in 2018, and this guy is ancient. I mean, this guy is just I don't even know. All right, never been the biggest puncher at heavyweight. So, that's another thing. I know punching power is not everything, but when you're dealing with Jarrell Big Baby Miller, a 300-pound man who comes at people like a big bear and just bludgeons them to the ground, and he's doing that against big guys like Marius Wack, who else was it, Gerald Washington, and what's the other guy, Johan Dupa. When he's bludgeoning them guys and just pushing them back and walking them down, oh boy, a former cruiserweight is gonna fight Jarrell Miller. I mean, he better have his best running shoes on, because he is gonna run around that ring, because Jarrell Miller's gonna absolutely eat this guy. There's gonna be about an 80-pound weight difference, for fuck's sake. I mean, I don't know who. I don't know how. Obviously, I don't know Tomasz Adamek's financial situation, so maybe he needs the money. But boy, he does not want to be going in there with Jarrell Miller. Jarrell Miller, who I rate quite highly. I think Jarrell Miller, people give him a lot of grief because, he's a fat boy. And let's be real for a sec. 2 pounds he weighed in the last fight? That's insane. That is way too heavy for a man of his dimensions to be weighing. I know he carries it well and he has good stamina. He's got a good work rate, tremendous engine, and very, very physically strong. Like, this guy, he's got to be out of all the heavyweights that I've seen, the physically strongest. Like, Takam and Chisora are strong. This guy's on another level to them guys, all right? And, they put on a great show there a few weeks ago, but this guy's, in terms of strength-wise, he's another level. Probably hits harder than the two of them too. I don't think he's the biggest puncher in the world. I know he never really hurt Gerald Washington when they fought, but, Gerald Washington didn't really try in that fight, but Wilder had that guy out with one right hand. So he obviously doesn't hit nowhere near as hard as Deontay Wilder, but to be honest with you, I don't think there's any heavyweights that really do, to be perfectly frank. And Jarrell Miller, he's been very vocal in the past. He's been calling out Anthony Joshua a lot. He brought up Anthony Joshua's mum in, one of the call-outs, which, I think that was a bit, distasteful. I don't think he should have done that. And, AJ sure as hell wasn't happy when they brought it up to him, which it's not normal. Well, you see AJ lose his cool. He didn't really lose his cool, but you could tell he was in an interview. Someone brought it up to him, and you could tell that was really bothering him. And it's not cool to bring up something like that. So Jarrell Miller, he's a trash talker. He's a fiery character, but it's not cool. With regards to Jarrell Miller, if he was to ever fight like a Wilder or a Joshua, I think he gives both of them guys a very, very, very tough fight. Here's what I think, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. I think that Deontay Wilder beats Jarrell Miller. And I'm gonna say it. I think at this moment in time, unless I see something in the meantime to change my mind, I'd pick Jarrell Miller to beat Anthony Joshua. Yeah, I would pick Jarrell Miller to beat Anthony Joshua. I think that he would just be, if his chin's as good as he makes it out to be, are we here? Because, he's been in there with guys like Marius Wack and Johan Dupa. They're not Anthony Joshua level punchers, and Joshua's a little bit kind of, quicker on his feet than those guys. So I don't know how good his chin would hold up to an Anthony Joshua right hand or a left hook or an uppercut. But if it can hold out, man, he's going to push Anthony Joshua back. He is going to be all on top of Anthony Joshua. I don't think Anthony Joshua has never struck me as a very good back foot fighter. So I think that will cause him a nightmare. Whereas Deontay Wilder's so much faster. And just so awkward. I don't think Jarrell Miller would have an easy time trying to get on top of Wilder. And I think that Wilder's punching power, because I do think he hits quite a bit harder than Anthony Joshua, in fact, would cause Jarrell Miller a good issue. I'd be very surprised if he could take Deontay Wilder's power, put it like that. But going back to this fight, yeah, Jarrell Miller for me, he's going to absolutely eat Tomasz Adamek. I reckon I can't see this fight lasting more than a couple of rounds, to be honest with you. He's going to absolutely eat Tomasz Adamek for breakfast, lunch and dinner. So that's kind of my thoughts. The whole Dazn card that we have in Chicago, it's not the strongest. There was, were they originally trying to get Billy Joe versus Demetrius Andrade on that card? I think they might have been. That would have made it a bit more decent, but as it stands now, there's obviously going to be growing pains. He obviously needs to get a few more stars, and Eddie Hearn was saying he wants to get 2 more stars. If I had to throw names out who I think he should get, people say Manny Pacquiao, definitely. Manny Pacquiao's big star. I'd also try and get Sor Roomfaside, the super flyweight. He's entertaining, that guy, and he's got a bit of a fan base since he knocked out Roman Gonzalez. So if I was Eddie Hearn, maybe looking at that guy as maybe a possible signing for the zone. But those are my thoughts on this fight. Again, I think it's a horrible, horrible mismatch. You're fighting a guy who was knocked out 2 years ago by Eric Molina. That says it all. But anyway, those are my thoughts on this fight. Like always, if you have any opinions, leave them down below. I appreciate the support, and I probably won't be getting any videos out this weekend, but definitely next week I'll be getting some out, and we'll kind of go back to kind of covering the fights. Next week we've got Frampton against that Australian guy, and of course we have Tyson Fury versus Francesco Pianetta. Definitely covering them fights. Looking forward to them. So until then, I'll see you next time.